Maulana Shah Kamaluddin Hamaray Emaan, please recite the holy salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. In the context of understanding and practice of our faith, Maulana Hamaray Emaan Shah Kamaluddin Salawatullah alayhi has repeatedly mentioned in his many farmans that though the forms of practice of faith may keep on changing from time to time, because this is what the requirement of the time and space, and this is what for which the existence of Imam is there, this is what for which we believe in Imam of the time. But there will be no change or no compromise on the essence of our tariqah, the spirit of our tariqah, what we call Rooh in Urdu and Arabic. There will be no compromise on the essence of our tariqah. And this is very important, because sometimes what happens that we become so much attached to the forms of practices that we have been doing over the years that we tend to forget the essence of it, and we become so formalized or become sort of formalist that we feel that this form or this structure or this body of practice, this is the faith, this is the foundation, this is the essence, this is the base, it should not be disturbed. But one thing must be clear, that we believe in Hamaray Emaan, and Imam said it is only Imam's prerogative to bring whatever change is required as far as practice of faith is concerned, or the interpretation of the faith is concerned, from time to time and from place to place. Now when we talk about the essence, एसेंस में कोई तब्दीली नहीं होगी हमारे तरीके की, रूह में कोई तब्दीली, कोई चेंज नहीं होगा हमारे तरीके के जौहर, एसेंस को हम कहते हैं जौहर, जौहर में कोई चेंजेस नहीं होगी. तो व्हाट इज रियली एसेंस? एसेंस क्या है, जौहर क्या है, हमारे फेथ में क्या है जो चेंज नहीं होगी? व्हाट इज द एसेंस व्हिच विल नॉट बी चेंज्ड? So today, tonight we would like to concentrate some of the areas of our tariqah which we consider essence, and we focus our attention on that. These are the things which are most important, they don't change. Now how to understand, how to perceive what really essence is? Essence is, we can say that the thing on which that structure it exists or it is based. Take the example of mankind, for example. It's a very material or very crude or very down-to-earth example, but as human being, our soul is the essence. Our body is non-essential. It's the form. Form keeps on changing. Soul is eternal. Soul never dies. Soul does not die. It is the body which changes form. I'm talking to you in a language, and I hope that it makes a sense, that the sound that is coming out of my mouth does make a sense. That's why you are paying some attention to the sound that is coming up to you. If there is no meaning in what I am telling you, you may just get out of what this noise is all about. So the sound that is coming, it is a part of a language, and it makes a sense, it has a meaning. I want to go home, for example. मुझे घर जाना है. Both these sentences gave you different sounds. मैंने घर जाऊँ छे, it gave you a third sound. हम खाने भी रहा, मैं चाहता हूँ घर जाऊँ. The same sentence, same meaning, but told you in different languages with different sounds. Whether I say water, pani, aap, ma sounds differently, but water that is meant here is the essence. So the the language, the sound, the noise that you hear, it gives a meaning. That meaning is the essence, and the language, the form, the sound, the sentence, the way you write it is the form. Languages may change. If I speak the same thing in 40 languages, that meaning is the essence, and all that the aspect of languages are the form. So forms keeps on changing, but the essence, the rule, the spirit, it never changes. In the practice of our faith, Imam has said that the essence of our tariqa, essence of our faith, हमारे तरीके का जो एसेंस है, जौहर है, वो चेंज नहीं होगा, और हमेशा हर चीज की जो कदर व कीमत होती है, हर चीज की वैल्यू उसके एसेंस और बातिन पे होती है. एवरीथिंग हैज इट्स वैल्यू ऑन इट्स स्पिरिट और इट्स इनर वैल्यू रादर देन द फॉर्म. हम हमेशा मिसाल देते हैं, सोना और पीतल, यू कंपेयर गोल्ड एंड कॉपर, कलर में देखने में एक जैसा होता है, बट वैल्यू डिफरेंट है, क्योंकि उसकी जो असल चीज जो है वैल्यू की है. एक पढ़ा लिखा आदमी है, एक अनपढ़ आदमी है. वन एजुकेटेड पर्सन, वन इलिटरेट पर्सन, दे बोथ गोइंग टुगेदर. क्या आप शक्ल देख के, वजन देख के आप बता देंगे इसमें कौन पढ़ा लिखा है? और अगर दोनों सेम कपड़े में घूमते हैं, if somebody becomes educated, it does not mean that there is a physical perceptible change in his body. Oh, but this man weighs 250 kilos, must be very educated. 250 किलो का आदमी है, बहुत पढ़ा लिखा होगा, इतना नजर आता है, दिखता नहीं है कितना बड़ा आलिम है, इतना भारी है. एजुकेशन इंसान को भारी नहीं बनाता है, वजन से एजुकेशन नहीं दिखता है, दिमाग में होता है. किसी का नाम बहादुर होने से बहादुर नहीं हो जाता. सॉरी, आपका नाम किसी का बहादुर होने से मार हो जाता है, लेकिन बहादुरी इज समथिंग फ्रॉम विदिन. प्रॉफिट, इमाम और एक आम, एक जनरल लेमैन, ए पर्सन, यू पुट देम इन ए लाइन. प्रॉफिट्स एंड इमाम्स की पोजीशन हायर किस वजह से है? जाहिर से है. Prophets and Imams, they are leaders of the mankind and leaders of the community simply because of something that is physical? No. It is intellectual. It is inner. It is spiritual. The Prophet himself said, it is in the Quran, Qul ana basharun mislukum, tell them I am a man like you. Qul ana basharun mislukum, मैं तुम्हारे जैसा इंसान हूँ. Yuha ilayya, but I get revelation that you don't know. Yuha ilayya, I get revelation, you don't get revelation. That makes the difference. The revelation was not something physical that everybody can perceive. So the real value of a thing, of his status, is not physical. It is spiritual. It is inner. So that's why if the form, physical aspect of a thing keeps on changing, it does not change its value. So while practicing our faith, we must keep in mind that our concentration should be on the essence of our belief and our practice. Essence में सबसे पहली चीज कौन सी आती है? What is the most important thing in our tariqa as far as essence is concerned? It is the concept of imamat, a concept of divine guidance, the concept of eternal divine guidance. When we talk of imamat, okay, we are Ismailis, we are Shia Imam Ismaili Muslim. After the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we follow the imamat of Hazrat Imam Murtaza Ali salawatullah alaihi. So that's how we are Ismailis. Historically, yes. Historically, this is how we introduce ourselves in the public. But this does not mean, sometimes our statement gives an impression as if we have decided to start imamat after the Prophet. Or we have decided that, okay, we need an imam, so we elected an imam and that imamat continued. It's not that imamat was an invention after the death of the Prophet. or imamat was an innovation, or it was innovated, just there was a vacuum, so somebody is required to take the position as a leader in the community, so this is how imamat started? No. Imamat is a continuous process. Concept of imamat, the word imam or imama was not new when the Quran was revealed. जब कुरान नाजिल हुआ हो रहा था तो बहुत सी आयतें कुरान में ऐसी हैं कि अगर कोई अजनबी या फॉरेन वर्ड्स या कॉन्सेप्ट्स यूज हुए हैं तो पीपल यूज टू आस्क क्वेश्चन. वयसअलूनका अनिर रूह, when the word ruh or ruh came in the Quran, Allah said, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الرُّوحِ, they are asking you, they are questioning you about the ruh. What is ar-ruh? Qul, tell them this is ruh. وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْأَهِلَّةِ, they are asking you about the crescent, about growing and becoming small of the moon. Why this is happening? Tell them, قُلْ هِيَ مَوَاقِيتُ لِلنَّاسِ وَالْحَجِّ, tell them this is by which you can count the days. It helps you to divide the days in 28, 29 days in the month. يَسْأَلُونَكَ مَاذَا يُنْفِقُونَ, they are asking you what should we spend in the way of Allah, how much should we spend. So when things were not clear, the बातें साफ नहीं थी तो लोग पूछते थे. लेकिन जब वर्ड इमाम उतरा है कुरान में, इमामत का वर्ड उतरा कुरान में, आइम्मा का वर्ड आया कुरान में, nobody asked your prophet what this imam is. ये इमाम का वर्ड क्यों यूज हुआ है, और इमामत का कॉन्टेक्स्ट विद इन कुरान शरीफ प्रॉफेट मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के टाइम से बहुत पहले मेंशन किया गया है. अल्लाह सेज अबाउट हजरत अब्राहम, हजरत इब्राहिम अलैहिस्सलातु वस्सलाम के बारे में कुरान शरीफ में अल्लाह फरमाता है, وَإِذِ ابْتَلَىٰ إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبَّهُ بِكَلِمَاتٍ فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ. Remember when your Lord tried Abraham with some words, with some sentences. فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ, and he passed in it, he completed that. قَالَ إِنِّي جَاعِلُكَ لِلنَّاسِ إِمَامًا. Allah said, O Abraham, Inni ja'iluka linnasi imama, I am going to appoint you as the imam of the people. I am appointing you as the imam of the people. وَقَالَ وَمِنْ ذُرِّيَّتِهِ, he said, O Allah, he requested, O Allah, this imamat must continue in my progeny also. قَالَ لَا يَنَالُ أَهْدِي الظَّالِمِينَ. Allah said, of course, because this designation, this office does not reach to someone who are wrongdoers. It reaches to those who do good in this world. ये मेरा ओहदा जालिमों को नहीं पहुंचता है. बनी इस्राइल में जो इमाम हुए, ये सब प्रॉफेट मोहम्मद के पहले की हम बात करते हैं. वजअलनाहुम अइम्मतन यहदून बिअमरिना, हमने उनको इमाम बनाया जो हमारे हुक्म से लोगों को हिदायत करते हैं. We have appointed them as imams and they guide according to our command. Yahduna bi amrina, they guide according to our command. Remember the word amr here. Allah talks about the imam who came before the prophet. Yahduna, they guide bi amrina, according to my amr. And those who guide according to Allah's amr are known as ulul amr. Those who have been given the authority to give amr, who has been given the power to give amr, those who represent the power to give amr on behalf of Allah. وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا. We have appointed imam from them who guide according to Allah's command, Allah's farman. There are some very small Quranic ayat, easy to remember. If we equip ourselves with this ayat, these verses, it helps us. Because as time goes by, you may be facing this situation. we will be more and more required in this society to articulate our faith. It's not that only we understand our faith and we practice our faith, but we should be in a position to articulate it in the society. And when the matter of articulation comes, it means that it should be very clear. There should not be any ambiguity. There should not be any contradiction what people are saying about our tariqah. Allah says in the Quran, يَوْمَ نَدْعُو كُلَّ أُنَاسٍ بِإِمَامِهِمْ. Very easy to remember the reference as well. Verse, chapter number 17 and verse number 71. You just turn it opposite. 1771. Surah number 17, ayat number 71. يَوْمَ نَدْعُو كُلَّ أُنَاسٍ بِإِمَامِهِمْ. The day we will call all the people with their imams. Finish. Maybe there may be hundreds of interpretations to that, and Ismaili is always promote the idea that of course there can be many interpretations. That's why as we respect the interpretations of others, at the same time we demand our own rights to have our interpretation, which must also be respected. So कुरान से जिस दिन हम तमाम लोगों को उनके इमाम के साथ बुलाएंगे, ये छोटी छोटी कुरानी आयत है। जब हम अपने दोस्त बिरादरों के साथ सोसाइटी के अंदर हमारे मुस्लिम बिरादरी के साथ दूसरों के साथ बैठते हैं, we are question about our tariqah, they want to know about our tariqah, we must be well grounded. And it's very important that as far as understanding of our tariqah, the material which is given by the Institute of Ismaili Studies, the books which are being published by the Institute, it's very important that our Jamaat make an effort to read those books. थोड़ी सी मेहनत करके उन किताबों को पढ़ना चाहिए. तरीका बोर्ड की तरफ से जो मटेरियल जमात को दिया जाता है, कोशिश करें उसको पढ़ें, क्योंकि एसेंस को समझने के लिए हमें इल्म की भी जरूरत है, नॉलेज की भी जरूरत है और प्रैक्टिस की भी जरूरत है. और अगर कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ इमामत, इमाम ने एक जगह पर फरमाया है कि इमामत के कॉन्सेप्ट को समझे बगैर तरीका को आर्टिकुलेट करना बहुत डिफिकल्ट होगा. Without understanding the concept of imamat, we will fail to articulate our tariqah. So it's very important कि हम इमामत के कॉन्सेप्ट को समझे. और ये इमामत का जो इंट्रोडक्शन हम दे रहे हैं वो तो हिस्टोरिक इंट्रोडक्शन दे रहे हैं, मगर इमामत remained a constant, continuous a chain of guidance even before the Prophet, and it continued also after the Prophet. The revelation stopped, the Prophethood stopped, Imamat never stopped. So Imamat continued, and in that chain we are following the Imam of the time. And today Imam Zaman Shah Karim al-Hussaini is our Al-Imam al-Hadir al-Mawjud, as we say, our present and living Imam. And the Imam is required to guide according to the time and place. Again we go before the time of Prophet Muhammad and take one ayat from the Holy Quran. When Prophet Moses was going for an assignment of communication with Allah, he was leaving his community for 40 days. And before leaving he called his brother Harun. And the Quran says, وَقَالَ مُوسَى لِهَارُونَ نَخْلُفْنِي يَا هَارُونَ نَخْلُفْنِي فِي قَوْمِي وَأَصْلِحْ. मूसा अलैहिस्सलाम ने हारून को बुलाया और कहा, ऐ हारून आ जाओ, मेरी कौम में मेरा खलीफा बन जाओ और इनकी इस्लाह किया करो. ओ हारून, become my caliph in my community as I am going away for a few days, and make changes and amendments as it is required. Just remember, the Prophet was not living this world. He was just leaving the community physically for a few days. Still, he did not leave his people, his community without a leader and without power. Not only that, he said, "Oh Harun, become my caliph in my absence, but keep on changing. Keep the reforms going on. Keep the changes continue. Aslih, सुधारा करते रहो, improvement करते रहो, development करते रहो. So if the community cannot remain without a leader, without a caliph, without a prophet, without an imam, even for 40 days, we are talking about centuries. So this is the first one, this is the essence of our tariqah. That the concept of imamat is there, a hazar imam is there. Imam has the authority of interpreting the tariqah, and Imam interprets our faith, Imam interprets the command of Allah according to the time and place, according to the need of the people, and we follow accordingly. The second essential point or the essence in our tariqah is the use of intellect. Aql ka istemal. Use of intellect in understanding our faith, in the practice of our faith, and the responsibility of faith to respect the intellect of humankind. Sometimes people say, or sometimes we misinterpret the bhode man is revo, bhode man is revo, bhode man is revo, which means that अकल की बात ही नहीं करो, कोई बात समझ में नहीं आवे छोड़ दो. Religion never says that. First of all, this Bode Manesrevo was said many hundred years ago in a different environment, different context. It is not a canonical or a legal sentence. It said very plainly that follow the religion with open heart, plain-heartedly, with full love and affection, with full dedication. Sometimes people say, mazhab में अकल की क्या जरूरत है? Why does this intellect comes in religion? Religion is just close your eye and follow. मजहब में अकल की जरूरत नहीं है. If we just spend few minutes, we will come to know that religion is only for the intellect. Where there is no intellect, there is no religion. There is no Sharia, no religion if there is no intellect. When we talk about the religion in the sense that we practice in this world, is there any religion for animals? I'm talking in terms of the religion that we practice, these do's and don'ts, for example. No. There is no religion like prayers and salat and doing this and not doing that. It doesn't apply. If a dog disturbs you, the dog will not be punished, but the owner of the dog will be punished. Very simple. Because the dog doesn't have the intellect, but the person who is holding the dog is responsible for that. He is answerable because of his intellect. So if there is no religion for animals, no religion for, say, angels. Allah says that they are constantly in the remembrance of Allah. All the time we praise you and we sanctify you and we sing your glory. So 24 hours, well, they are beyond time and space anyway, but all the time these angels are in the remembrance of Allah. So they don't need any sort of religion. In religion you will find some do's and don'ts, that is known as Sharia law. Don't do this, पे नमाज पढ़ो, ये करो, वो करो, अच्छा काम करो, बुरा काम नहीं करो, वगैरह वगैरह. बच्चे पे बहुत माइनर जो भी बच्चे पैदा हुए हैं 1 साल 2 साल, उन पे कोई रिलीजियस ड्यूटीज फर्ज है? अगर आपकी 6 महीने की बेबी दुआ नहीं पढ़ती है, आप कहेंगे ये पाप है, ये गुनाह है, बच्ची ने दुआ क्यों नहीं पढ़ा? Would you say that if our kids, for example, 6 months, 1 year old, doesn't say prayer, doesn't know how to say prayer, doesn't understand what really prayer is, are you going to blame him or her that this is a sin, hey, she is not saying a prayer? But she is not capable of understanding what prayer is. ये कैसे दुआ पढ़ेगी, कैसे नमाज पढ़ेगी, क्या रोजे रखेगी? अभी इसको तो हर आधा घंटे में मुंह में खाना देना है, ये सब चीजें इस पर लागू नहीं पड़ती है. क्यों? ये इंसान नहीं है. ये 6 महीने की, 12 महीने की, 2 साल की बच्चे, aren't they human being? They are. Then why religion is not imposed on them, or why not religion is taught to them? उनसे इनकी सोच, इनकी इंटेलेक्ट इतनी डेवलप नहीं हुई है, ठीक है ना, कि इनका माइंड इतना डेवलप नहीं हुआ है. व्हेन दे विल ग्रो अप एंड व्हेन दे विल रीच एट ए स्टेज वेयर दे कैन डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन राइट एंड रॉन्ग, देन रिलीजन विल अप्लाई ऑन देम. फाइन, लेट्स गो वन स्टेप फर्दर. पागलों पे, इंसेन जो होते हैं, क्रेजी हो जाते हैं, उन पे कोई मजहब है, कोई रूल्स रेगुलेशन लॉज नहीं है. अभी कोई आदमी किसी का मर्डर करके और फिर निकलने के लिए टेम्पररी इंसैनिटी फाइल करता है, ठीक है ना. निकलने का एक ही रास्ता, इफ यू कैन प्रूव यू आर नॉट सेन एट दैट टाइम, यू हैव एन अटैक ऑफ टेम्पररी इंसैनिटी, थोड़ी देर के वास्ते मैं पागल हो गया था. Which means that if you can prove आप पागल हो गए थे तो आपको नहीं मालूम कि राइट एंड रॉन्ग क्या है, तो वो डिफरेंटली ट्रीट किया जाएगा. इस्लामी शरीयत में भी पागल के ऊपर, इंसान इंसान के ऊपर कोई नमाज, बंदगी, इबादत नहीं है. भाई इतना जवान आदमी, तगड़ा, इतना मोटा है, इस पर नमाज भी नहीं करने, इसका दिमाग खराब हो गया. Which means अगर दिमाग खराब हो गया then there is no religion. तो रिलीजन किसके वास्ते बच गया है? ये सब एग्जम्पशंस हो गए ना, उनमें से किसी पे मजहब नहीं है. हमको तो बोला कि तुमको तो अकल यूज ही नहीं करना है मजहब में, तो फिर है किसके वास्ते मजहब? Who are going to follow the religion? The only conclusion is that religion remains for those who are sound in intellect, जिनका दिमाग काम करता है. So religion is only for the intellect. And then people say, मजहब में अकल की क्या जरूरत है? What is the need of intellectual faith? Then what religion is for? Maulana Hamaray Emaan said once that if we are not allowed to intellect, then why Allah has given us the intellect? Intellect is the only thing which separates us from animal. And if we don't use it, people sometimes say, oh, Allah का फरमान है, अकल वकल इस्तेमाल करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Allah says in the Holy Quran, those who do not use intellect, they are like animal. Of course they are like animal, because if a faculty is given to them and it is not used, Allah is even more angry on them than maybe he is on animals. وَلَقَدْ ذَرَأْنَا لِجَهَنَّمَ كَثِيرًا مِنَ الْجِنِّ وَالْإِنسِ. Allah says that I have destined a group from humankind and the jinnat. They are going to hell. They are destined to go to hell. But what are their faults? Why they will go to hell? Look, the faults they are facing. Why they are being punished? Why they will go to hell? Allah says they are committing 3 big mistakes. And what are they? Lahum, because lahum qulubul la yafqahuna biha. They have been given heart but they don't think. This is the crime that they are committing. लहुम कुलुबुल ला यफ़क़हून बिहा, उनके दिल है मगर सोचते नहीं है. Allah has given them a faculty of thinking but they don't use it. Lahum आज़ानुर ला यस्माऊन बिहा, they have been given ears but they don't hear. सुनते नहीं है, उनको कान दिया गया है. Lahum a'yunur la yubsiruna biha, they have been given eyes but they don't see. They are like cattle, they are like animals, but worse than animals, because at least animals have not been given the faculties, so it's not fault of them. But these human beings have been given these faculties and they are not using them. Time and again you will find in the Holy Quran, Allah in His displeasure describes us as summun, bukmun, umyun. They are summun, bukmun, umyun. They are deaf, they are dumb, they are blind. Wahum la yash'urun, they don't understand. He's not talking about animals, he's talking about us. وَإِذَا ذُكِّرُوا بِآيَاتِ رَبِّهِمْ لَمْ يَخِرُّوا عَلَيْهَا سُمًّا وَعُمْيَانًا. Allah talks about the believers, those who use intellect in their life. Allah says, when Allah's commands are read in front of them, they don't fall prostrated on that, becoming deaf, dumb and blind. Sometimes people ask, oh, अल्लाह ने फरमा दिया बस झुक पड़ो, आँख कान मुंह सब बंद करो. अल्लाह से नो. जब उनके सामने अल्लाह की आयत पढ़ी जाती है तो अंधे और गुंगे बन के झुक नहीं पड़ते हैं. तो क्या करते हैं? They try to understand. They try to understand. और अकल, इंटेलेक्ट टाइम के साथ साथ प्रोग्रेस करती है, टाइम के साथ साथ ग्रो होती है. 1000 साल पहले इंसान जिस तरह सोचता था आज उससे बहुत डिफरेंट सोचता है. मौला फरमाते हैं फंडामेंटली ऑल्टर्ड कंडीशन ऑफ द सोसाइटी. एंड हाउ डिड इट हैपन? इट हैपेंड ड्यू टू द इंटेलेक्चुअल डेवलपमेंट ऑफ पीपल. एंड इंटेलेक्ट इज कॉन्स्टेंटली ग्रोइंग. और इंटेलेक्ट के ग्रोथ में प्रॉफिट्स और इमाम का कंट्रीब्यूशन है. कमा अरसलना फीकुम रसूलन मिनकुम, एज आई हैव सेंट ए प्रॉफिट फ्रॉम अमंगस्ट यू. यतलू अलैकुम आयातिना, who reads my revelation on you, व युज़क्कीकुम व युअल्लिमुकुमुल किताब वल हिकमा, and he purifies you and he reads the verses of Quran and the wisdom. व युअल्लिमुकुम मा लम तकुनु तालमून, and he teaches you what you did not know. तो ट्रेनिंग, एजुकेशन, टीचिंग ये इमाम का काम है जिससे हमारी इंटेलेक्ट डेवलप होती है. और जब इंटेलेक्ट डेवलप होती है तो अल्लाह का जो मजहब, जो दीन हमको दिया गया है उसको, उस इंटेलेक्ट को अपील करने के लिए उसके मुताबिक उसको इंटरप्रेट करने की जरूरत है. आज हम सोसाइटी में देखते हैं लोग बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके से अपने मजहब पे अमल करना चाहते हैं, मगर टाइम के मुताबिक फेथ को रीइंटरप्रेट नहीं करने की वजह से उसमें एक हार्मनी पैदा नहीं हो पा रही है. हम आज के जमाने में फेथ प्रैक्टिस करना चाहते हैं मगर उसका फॉर्म ऐसा है कि उस पर जाने के लिए मुझे फिजिकली 1000 बरस पीछे जाना पड़ता है, 1200 बरस पीछे जाना पड़ता है और डिफिकल्ट है मेरे लिए कि मैं कैसे इसको प्रैक्टिस करूं. द यूज ऑफ इंटेलेक्ट, अपीलिंग योर फेथ टू योर इंटेलेक्ट इज लिंक्ड विद द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ इमामा. सो इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ इमामा एंड द फंक्शन ऑफ इमामा, when we read the constitution, I'm sure most of you have read the constitution, our Shia Imam Ismaili constitution, and the preamble of the constitution where the concept of imamat has been given. And it is said that after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the responsibility of ta'wil and ta'aleem, that is the education of, that is the teaching of the Jamaat, and the spiritual batini interpretation of the faith, both these responsibilities lies with the Imam of the time. And what we are doing today, how we are growing, how we are practicing our faith, and how Imam is working in this world, if you can summarize them in 2 small words, they are part of ta'aleem and ta'wil, to teach the mankind and to interpret according to the time and according to the faith. The third important thing about our tariqah is that it's not that just practicing of tariqah and practicing of faith, that is the end of it, but our belief about the tariqah also includes our batini concept, our concept, our belief in the esoteric aspect of our faith. As I said earlier, it is the esoteric aspect of our being which is the most valuable and not the exoteric. It is not the form which is important, it is the spirit. For example, yes, it is important how I come to Mukhi Sahib and how beautifully and formally I fold my hands and I say the sentences of whatever is taught to me, perfectly. This is very important. But even more important is, did I really confess for my sin from within? Was that real feeling of confession, feeling of being gunegar, of sartapa gunegar is there, and the feeling that I am being forgiven by my Imam of the time, whether I have achieved that or not. if I have achieved that, then that form, if there is some variation in those forms, it's fine. That's not important. The most important thing is the spirit. Of course, the form, do it properly, do it the way we are taught, is very important, but they are not the ends in themselves. They are the means. ये जराए हैं, जरिया है जिससे हम मीन्स को पहुंचते हैं, ये जिससे हम एंड को पहुंचते हैं. तो मीन्स अपनी जगह पर इंपॉर्टेंट है. जैसे हम किसी गाड़ी में बैठते हैं, गाड़ी एंड नहीं होता. कोई भी अपना घर गाड़ी में नहीं बनाता. घर जाने या घर से आने के लिए गाड़ी यूज होता है, कार यूज होती है. तो वो तो मीन्स ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन है. असल जो एंड होता है या वर्क होता है या डेस्टिनेशन होता है या घर होता है. तो जो एक्चुअल जो चीज अचीव करना चाहते हैं वो हमारे स्पिरिचुअल एलिवेशन है, स्पिरिचुअल डेवलपमेंट है, स्पिरिचुअल प्रोग्रेस है, रूहानी तरक्की है. और when we talk about Zahir and Batin, the exoteric and esoteric, it is very important that it is the responsibility of the Imam of the time to unfold and reveal the esoteric aspect of our tariqah as time goes, and as the desire of the murid, like we have the Baitul Khal practice in our tariqah. It is one of the forms, one of the ways of achieving Ruhani spiritual progress, Ruhani tariqah in our practice. But it's not exclusive, but it is available. Those who want spiritual elevation, spiritual progress, Imam shows in the way. And without following the spiritual aspect of our tariqah, we will not be able to understand the esoteric aspect of our tariqah. Imam has repeatedly said there is a Zahir and there is a Batin. Zahir, what is apparent, what you can feel, what you can see, what you can touch. But Batin, that is a spiritual, and there is a spiritual way through which we can reach to Him who is above all else. That's why Imam repeatedly tells us, because no matter what are the conditions of this world, whatever we are doing in this world, but it is very important that we should not forget that our soul is eternal. We are on a journey of eternity, and to maintain that pace of progress is very important. And we should never lose sight of that spiritual progress. Sometimes it happens that environment plays a very important role. Environment is conducive for our spiritual growth. Sometimes we live in a materialistic society, sometimes we are too committed, or we are under tremendous pressure for our economic well-being or our worldly progress or our commitment to education, commitment for children. These things are, as Imam himself has said, that Imam understands this very well. But in spite of all these, there cannot be compromise on the spiritual development, spiritual progress of our faith and of our tariqah. That is the core, that is the most important thing in the practice of our faith. And we must ask ourselves a question whether we are fully concentrated, fully committed to that. A king has given a beautiful, very costly diamond necklace to his princess, to his daughter. Very, very expensive. But somehow she lost it. बहुत खूबसूरत प्यारा सा हार था, बाप ने दिया था, गुम गया. And everybody was worried. हो बादशाह का, शहजादी का हार गुम गया, शहजादी का नेकलेस गुम गया. It's a big problem. Somebody said किसी ने चोरी कर ली है, some bird has taken it. But they could not find it. And the king made an announcement of a reward of a very big amount, 50,000 pounds for example. जो ये हार ढूंढ के ले आएगा उसको 50,000 पाउंड का इनाम दिया जाएगा. And everybody was thinking, काश कि हमारे हाथ में ये हार आ जाए तो पैसे आएंगे. A boy was walking down a stream of water, a small river, filthy water, dirty water. And while walking, he saw some shimmering, some reflection in the water. He saw something light, some light is going on. So he tried to see what is there, and he felt that something like a diamond necklace is lying just at the bottom of the water. He said, yeah, I think it is that necklace. आगे पीछे देखा, फिर मेरे को देखता तो नहीं है, this is a very big thing. Let me get it. He put his hand in the water, dirty, very filthy water. But somehow he could not grab it. And the water was disturbed, so he waited for some time to get it settled. When the water gets settled again, he felt, no, the necklace is lying there, right there. He went down further and used both his hands to grab the necklace. And somehow again he failed this time. What's happening? Why? ये हार मेरे हाथ में क्यों नहीं आता? What's happening? पानी गंदा हो गया, फिर खड़ा रहा, let the dust settle. मिट्टी settle हुई, नीचे बैठ गया. The hair is there, the necklace is there. This time he jumped in the water. तो कपड़े अपने गंदे होंगे, कोई बात. If you want to climb the Himalayas, you don't ask the price of the shoes, you know that. 50,000 पाउंड का हार है, कपड़े अपने को क्या करना, लेट जंप मारा, एकदम गंदा कपड़ा होके बाहर निकला विद द एक्सपेक्टेशन कि इस दफा तो कहाँ जाएगा, मेरे हाथ में हार आएगा. But he came out empty-handed and embarrassed, depressed. What's this? The water was very much disturbed. He sat there, what to do? Again the water settled, but the necklace is lying there. In the meantime, a gentleman was passing through that. Seems to be a saint, darwesh निकला वहाँ से. He saw a symbolic thing, symbolic language, but the message is very important. तो darwesh ने पूछा कि I am watching you, you have been going in the water and coming back. What's the problem? What are you looking for? He thought that I better not share it with the darwesh. He will come to know, he will kill me and look at the necklace himself. So I will not share it. Darwesh said, look, don't be embarrassed, don't worry. If it is something very precious, I have no interest in that. Just tell me if really I can help you, I can do something for you. So look, there is a necklace in the water. Can you see that? Yes, I can. I wanted that necklace. Good, very good intention. How? And why I cannot get it? The darwish is because you are looking at the wrong place. You are looking at the wrong place. What do you mean? You should have looked upward rather than downward. What do you mean? You should have looked upward. आपको ऊपर देखना चाहिए, ये नीचे देखने की चीज नहीं है. You look upward and the necklace was dangling in the branch of the tree. एक दरख्त में लटक रहा था वो, उसका रिफ्लेक्शन पानी में आ रहा था. And thinking of reflection as the real ornament, the real necklace, he was jumping in the water. The moral of the story is that this world, the dunya, materialistic world, sometimes it looks as if the real happiness is lying somewhere in this, and we try to grab it. We sometimes jump into it with the hope that yes, this happiness and this the ambition of my life lies in that. But Imam has said there is no happiness. Real happiness is matter. We only dirty our clothes. We become, more filthy. We have returned to look upward. This world, this material world, is a reflection of the spiritual world. This exoteric world is a reflection of the esoteric. That is the essence, that is the spirit, that is the jawhar, this is the body, this is the form, this is the zahir. Our concentration should be on the batin. We say our prayers, we strengthen our link with the Imam of the time. I will quote a couple of farmans of Maulana Hazrat Imam Shah Karim al-Husaini sallallahu alayhi. In 1964, on 5th of December in Karimabad, Dhaka, Maulana Hazrat Imam sallallahu alayhi had an audience with the Ismaili Association people at that time. Today, which is Tariqa Board, it was Ismaili Association. And Mullah was given some specific guidance to Ismaili Association people. And during that Farman, Imam said that I would like you also to have it clear in your minds what is essential in our practice. That which is essence is essential for us. What is essential in our practice? It is not only dua, it is dua, but it is not only dua. It is not only presence in Jamaat Khana. It is not only service to Imam and to Jamaat, but it is also ibadat. But it is also ibadat. Through ibadat, and when the Mullah says ibadat, we understand it means the esoteric practice of ibadat, the Baitul Khayal. That does not mean that if I am not a member of Baitul Khayal, I cannot have a spiritual progress. Those who opt for Baitul Khayal, they are being guided by the Imam of the time, but even without entering into Baitul Khayal, that spiritual elevation, that way of the path of progress in a spiritual way is always open to us. Remember the name of Lord. Mawla has said, whenever you are free, remember, take the name of Ya Allah, Ya Muhammad, Ya Ali, Alladhina yadhkuruna Allah qiyaman wa qu'udan wa ala junubihim. Khade hain, baithe hain, laite hain, in every condition, remember His name. Sometimes people say, oh, we are talking about a balanced life. How can I maintain a balance? A balance means half and half. If I have 24 hours, then 12 hours for my worldly thing and 12 hours for Jamaat Khana or my spiritual life, I cannot maintain that balance. That balance does not mean in our tariqah, the spiritual and worldly are not divided. There is no dichotomy. It is not divided into two parts. It is a 24 hours affair. Imam has said that your faith should become an integral part of your daily life. My profession is my faith. My business is my faith. My education is my faith. My family is my faith. My traveling is my faith. My way of earning my livelihood is my faith. And Imam says very clearly, earn your living honestly. Earn your living honestly. If I am sitting in my shop or I am doing my profession, I should not compromise on the integrity. I should not compromise on the ethical teachings of my tariqah. Because if I compromise there, I pollute myself. There is so much pollution going on anyway around us. But as there is there is physical pollution, similarly there is spiritual and mental pollution, bad habits, bad negative thinking, unethical behavior, compromise on faith and sincerity and integrity. They all disturb our spiritual being. They disturb our inner self, and then we are lost. Doesn't matter, कहते ना दो रोटी कम खाएंगे मगर ईमानदारी की खाएंगे. Never, we should never compromise on the essence of our tariqah. It is said, you are what you eat. Sometimes they say, you are what you eat. हम वो हैं जो हम खाते हैं. फिजिकल सेंस में भी काफी इम्पोर्टेंट है ये चीज, क्योंकि इस नरिशमेंट पे भी डिपेंड करता है. मगर एज वी से देयर इज ए फिजिकल एंड स्पिरिचुअल, हर चीज का जाहिर और बातिन है. मैं अगर एक रोटी खाता हूँ, उस रोटी का भी जाहिर और बातिन है. द ब्रेड आई ईट, द फ्रूट आई ईट, इट ऑल्सो हैज ए जाहिर एंड ए बातिन. इसका जाहिर तो ये है कि ये मैं बनाना खाता हूँ तो इसका जो भी बेनिफिट है मुझे मिलता है. मैं ये ब्रेड खाता हूँ, इसका मुझे मेरी बॉडी को जो बेनिफिट है मुझे मिल रही है. इसका बातिन मेरी सोल के साथ भी रिलेशनशिप है कि ये ब्रेड मैं कहाँ से लाया हूँ. हाउ डिड आई अर्न दिस ब्रेड? दैट इज द स्पिरिचुअल साइड ऑफ इट विच इज गोइंग टू अफेक्ट माई सोल. मैं ईमानदारी से खाना कमाता हूँ तो ये मेरी बॉडी और मेरे सोल, मेरे जाहिर और बातिन दोनों को स्ट्रेंथन करते हैं। मेरी कमाई में कहीं कॉम्प्रोमाइज है तो बॉडी तो बन जाएगी, जो कि जितना अच्छा खाना खाएंगे बॉडी बनेगी, सोल वीक हो जाएगी, अंदर से कमजोर हो जाएगा इंसान, और फिर problems, questions, distractions, illusions and darkness, depression, lot of दुनिया की चीजें हमारे साथ आएगी। इसलिए जो हमारी basic responsibilities है, no matter where we are at the time of our prayer, we must say our prayer. Try as much as possible to be regular, to be in Jamaat Khana. But if for any genuine reason we cannot come to Jamaat Khana, our prayers are always with us. Wherever we are, we must say our prayer. And then a sign of our loyalty to the Imam of the time is to pay Imam's due to him. Imam said, earn your living honestly, kamai ईमानदारी से हो. And Allah said in the Holy Quran, halalan tayyiban, तुम्हारा खाना एक तो हलाल हो, यानी ईमानदारी की कमाई हो, और तय्यब पाक हो, और पाक तब होता है जब उसमें से खुदा कहा कि इमाम कहा कि 10 माले वाजिबात निकाल लेते। तो जब 10 माले वाजिबात भी अपने माल में से निकल गया, our माल becomes purified, and when we eat those things, it not only gives us nourishment to our body, but the food that we eat, it also helps us to illuminate our batin as well, that do not disturb our spiritual being. So there is continuous relationship, constant relationship between our actions in this world and our spiritual entity and our spiritual developmental progress. So in short, in nutshell, our concentration must always be on the spiritual side, the esoteric side, the essential of our faith. We should not lose the sight and should never compromise on the essence of our tariqah and on the necessity of developing ourselves esoterically, spiritually, in a batini way. I stop here. Khuda Maulana Shah Kamaluddin Hazar Emaan give us the understanding to follow our faith. Maulana Hazar Emaan keep us steadfast on the practice of our tariqah. Maula keep us on Sirat-e Mustaqim. May Maula forgive all our errors and shortcomings, and may Maula grant us and grace us with His holy didar. Please recite the salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
Kanavadan, Kanavadan.